So welcome everybody to the Business Intelligence lecture in WIN6, okay? Today's 26th of September. And today we're gonna make a short introduction. Will not take the full time. I'm gonna give you the first thing, a framework for business intelligence. A framework means like a frame in which we're going to be navigating. So we move within this framework when we talk about business intelligence. It's like the world we navigate. Okay, it's not the whole world, it's just a map of the world we navigate, but it gives you a way to be able to know where you are, where we're standing when we talk about this. Okay? So we understand business, and this is a definition, it's not a super complex definition, but it's a good one. We understand business as succession of socio-technical processes which aim is to increase value for a customer. So there are several things here in this sentence that are important, and we will spend the hour trying to figure out this sentence. Okay, so I will go every word explaining what I mean with it, so that you know what we are talking about when we talk about business. The word intelligence is way too complex to explain in 1 hour, or in 1 year, or in one life. We don't understand intelligence. That's why when we talk about business intelligence, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Nobody knows. Actually, nobody knows what's the roof. Take chess. I don't know if those guys of you that play chess. Google invented a few years ago a chess program that can play with an elo of 4,000. That's like playing like God. Okay? Impossible to beat it, and the best you can get is a draw, right? So we don't know where's the limit to intelligence. We don't understand the brain. So how are we going to be able to replicate it? It's impossible. So, but business we kind of understand. And let's go word by word, trying to figure out what we mean with that. So the first thing is this socio-technical word, this weird word. It's a complex. Let me put two axes. One is going to be the social axis. One is going to be the technical axis. Okay. From left to right, social complexity is increasing. Okay, so this way, we understand that complexity is increasing. That's the meaning of the arrow. From bottom to top, we understand that technical complexity is increasing. So the highest complexity we've got somewhere here. Okay? Let's look at each one of these axes in detail. And this is going to give us a framework. And this is true, by the way, in Germany, in Spain, in Brazil, in Turkey, in Poland, or wherever you want, in Japan, in anywhere. And it's also true now and 100 years ago. So what I'm going to give you is a framework that is universal and is timeless. And this is very, very good because in business, things are changing all the time. And whenever you don't know where you are, you need something to grab, something that does not change, some sort of compass that always points to north, okay, so that you can orient yourself. And this is what it is, a framework that does not change with time or culture or whatever, okay? So it's just not changing. You can also apply this framework to your personal life. You can apply this framework to your business. You can apply this framework to any social environment. So, the smallest unit in the social web is the human being. Okay? So we're talking here about one individual. Here we're talking about you, about you, about you, about you, about you, each one, okay? Everybody. This individual needs to have a characteristic. This characteristic is called trustworthiness. And this is about having a balance between two characteristics, two components. One is your character, who you are, and one is your competence, what you can do. Who you are, what you can do. You would not call a doctor. You wouldn't call a doctor if this doctor knows a lot about the illness you have, knows a lot about medicine, but prescribes you a medicine that you don't need. This doctor is not trustworthy. Ora? You wouldn't call him. You wouldn't call a doctor that has the right character. You can talk about him about everything, but doesn't know shit about what you have.
A rheumatologist for something for the heart.
Yeah. What was that?
A rheumatologist to take care of your issue with your heart.
So exactly. So this, if a doctor does not have both at the same time, character and competence, you wouldn't trust this doctor. This doctor is for you not trustworthy as a doctor. Same thing for a husband or a wife. Can be a very competent person and earn a lot of money, but is not trustworthy and cheats on you. This person is not trustworthy as a partner. Same thing with, whoever you deal with in life. If they don't have both character and competence, they're not trustworthy. And this is something that we don't see at first. Alles gut? Huh? It's something that we don't see at first. We need to take time to know people. Okay? It takes just time. So the next level is the relationship level. So instead of having one person, we have two people. Here we talk about a relationship. And here we're talking about something called trust. So the way I like to think about trust is like having a bank account with every person you meet in your life. But in this bank account, you don't throw real money, you throw trust money. You throw trust dollars. Okay? So whatever interaction you have with this person, you're either investing trust money or you're withdrawing trust money. That's the way to think about it. And believe me, you have this bank account whether you want it or not. In the moment that you start exchanging interactions, you start having that bank account. And people will know. Not in the beginning. It takes maybe some time. But believe me, when you go work, you will be there for at least 2-3 years. You know who you can trust and who you cannot trust. You've been in school, right? So you know who you can trust in class and who you can't trust in class, right? In your family, you know who you can trust with some stuff, who you cannot trust, and so on. You just know. You just cannot explain it, and you cannot measure it, but you know. So another way to think about it is look at yourselves. You have 3 degrees of liberty. 3. You can decide what you think. You can decide what you say. You can decide what you do. I'm going to paint a little hammer here. So you can decide what you think, what you say, what you do. If there is a gap, a delta, between what you think and what you say, then you are hitting trustworthiness. People will not notice right away, but they will know. You're thinking, oh, Ingo is an asshole, but you go every morning and say, hello, good morning, Ingo, how's it going? You know, he will not notice at the beginning. Maybe it takes some time, but he will know that something's wrong inside of you. And believe me, when you are a little bit older, behaviors in people repeat. So you start knowing. At some point you know, just by shaking a hand or spending 5 minutes with somebody. Just take some experience. If there is a gap between what you say and what you do, then you start hitting trust. And this is something that people can measure. Imagine a customer. If you say, yeah, I'm going to deliver these parts by tomorrow, and you don't deliver, your customer doesn't trust you. Imagine you have a son. You say, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to take you for a dinner, and then we're going to go to the movies, and then whatever, and then you're going to spend a night out with a friend, and you don't deliver because you're busy at work answering emails. Your son is going to feel betrayed. Trust goes down. You withdraw money from your bank account. And you can do that sometime. You cannot do it forever. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is that these concepts are universal. And the first universal rule you need to remember, and I'm not going to write it, but you should remember it, is there is no trust without trustworthiness. You cannot be successful in business or in your personal life on the long run if you're not trustworthy. You can trick people. You can short-term them into tricks. You can manipulate. You can make them feel good so that you get what you want from them. But on the long run, people will know. And in the end, you will be alone. Fucking alone. And that's hard. Okay? So this question you need to ask yourselves. What life you want to live. But if you want to end up alone, the only thing you need to do is not be trustworthy. Start playing on people. Okay. Same thing for business, of course. In business, there are very many people that are very smart around, and you cannot treat them because they know all the tricks. They've been there before. So, yeah. The next level is the managerial level. This is where you're gonna operate your life in business most securely. Some of you are consultants, some of you do, but in the end, in let's say 3, 4, 5 years, you will be managing. You'll be managing some group, you will be managers, that's why you're studying, okay? That's what you're preparing for, and this is perfectly fine. You are managers. This is a managerial level. And here what we do is empowerment. This hand, this very bad drawn hand, is like the hand of the management, pulling people up to new performance levels. You bring people up. You want to increase the industrial performance of your process, or you want to increase the amount of money you earn, or you want to increase profitability, you want to increase quality, whatever the fuck you want to do, you want to do it with people. Okay, you empower your people. This thing that we do here is an empowerment session. You're learning stuff that you previously didn't know, so you're getting empowered. But the real issue here is that the second rule, you need to remember, there is no empowerment without trust. So, no trust without trustworthiness. You cannot go to this level without being trustworthy, and no empowerment without trust. So everything starts with you. Within your brain, within your heart, within your spirit, everything starts with you. If you are broken inside, you will not be successful in the long run. Okay? So you need to fix yourself first. The fourth level we are going to be operating on is the organizational level. So all these arrows that I painted before, like consulting or controlling, logistics, production, HR, IT, whatever arrow, they need to be supporting a certain set of, strategic goals. These strategic goals are given. They are not a matter of choice. They're given to you by the corporate ladder at some point. Somebody's going to say, this quarter, we need to grow. This quarter, we need to increase profitability. This quarter, we need to do that and that. Okay? So they're given to you. You need to align yourself towards that goal. So here we are going to talk about organizational level. And this level is going to be about something called alignment. And with alignment, I mean a common direction. Eine gemeinsame Ausrichtung in German. Okay? So we want to achieve goals while increasing trust. And this is the definition of leadership. Achieve goals while increasing trust. So whenever you go and visit an assessment center and the HR fellow asks you, what is leadership for you? You lay back, wait 3 seconds, look her in the eye and say, leadership is achieving goals while increasing trust. And then wait 3 seconds. Okay? Ziele erreichen bei gleichzeitigem Vertrauensaufbau. And this sentence is everything there. You want to achieve organizational goals while increasing trust. For that, you need to empower people, and for that, you need to be trustworthy. And this is a class of leadership in 15 minutes. There is everything you need to know for your career in this arrow. There's hundreds of books that are put together in just 4 steps. Okay? Make sure you internalize these 3 laws of nature. No trust without trustworthiness, no empowerment without trust, and no alignment without empowerment. You cannot advance in your career and be a successful organizational leader without working on yourself. And we will talk about this in a minute, what it means for your brain, and maybe some of you are a little bit surprised that we're not talking about computers, but everything starts with a person. Okay, that's why it's important to talk about this before, about the business part, not about the intelligence part. Okay, any questions so far? No questions. Okay, so the next axis here is, I'm going to go through it faster because we will deal with it later on. Let me put an example of a factory. Imagine you have a machine, okay, what we call the shop floor. We add up several machines together in a production line, and we call this the value stream. Then we put several of these value streams and we get a factory. And we put several factories together and we get a supply chain. Of course, complexity is increasing. You need one machine that works well, but you need to have a lot of things happening in the system so that your supply chain, factory and supply chain. So when we put these 2 axes together, what we get is a socio-technical framework. And that's what we were looking for. Because, why is this important? Because you're going to be international leaders. Whether you want it or not, at some point you will be confronted with the fact that the world is getting flat, is getting smaller all the time. And the fact of the matter is that if you behave in a certain manner when you go to Rio, imagine you fly from Germany to Brazil. The guys there will just pick you up from the airport. They will invite you to some churrasco. They will get you home. You will get to meet their families. Super making group. In this environment, you can behave in a certain manner. if you behave in this manner, when you fly next week to Japan, where guys will not even shake your hands, they will just bow, and they will take them like 3 months to even tell you what's going on in the factory. So if you behave the same manner in Brazil and in Japan, no success. Other way, if you behave the way you behave in Japan, in Brazil, also no way you get business.
It's also the way you act upon, because if you
Yeah.
are like received in a way and you do a wrong step in that process, your trust, as you said, goes down.
Goes down. So the same thing happens in Spain or the same thing happens if you go to Bayern or to Saxon. I don't know. So if you have a certain accent in Saxon, they will look at you like, what the fuck, where are you from? Or, So what I'm trying to say is that this guy that thought that was very successful while working in his factory in Sindelfingen, okay, and then was sent to a certain project in Taiwan to do the same thing, exactly the same thing, but in Taiwan, will not work the same. You need to develop flexibility in your brain, plasticity, okay? You need to develop a certain set of skills, intelligence, that allow you to navigate in different cultural environments, because you need to be successful in the supply chain level, internationally, not only locally, okay? Same thing for relationships. No shit, you cannot treat same way a Brazilian guy or a Japanese or a Chinese or an American or a German. No way, will not work, okay? Same thing with empowerment. Imagine you have different groups of people working together. You need to put a group together, international, you need to be managing different personalities, set of cultures, and of course at an organizational level, same way. So what I'm trying to say is that you need to be, and still you need to be trustworthy. And whatever you say you will do, you do. And whatever you're thinking, you will say. Make sure you don't say everything you think, but whatever you say, you can back it up with your thoughts, right? So this is the social technical level we're talking about. So much about 2 words. The third axis it's called digital. I like it to call it digital or digitalization. So we have here 3, and this is where business intelligence operates, okay? We have here 3 different levels. First you need to get grasp of your data, and there are different ways to do that, depending on the process you're dealing with, depending on the environment, depending on a lot of things. Once you get a grasp on your data, you need to extract knowledge from the data. So for that, you need data analysis skills. If you want to become data analyst, this is the way to go. But it's not the end. Become a data analyst is cool maybe now for you. It's by no means the end because after analyzing data, you need to create value. And for that, you need to be a business guy. Value is created to people, for people, with people. You need to understand how people operate, and for that, you need what? This. Without this, you don't create value. You will be a successful data analyst that gets maybe max 70K a year. With that, you can live a decent life, but no way you get rich. And at the end of the day, why I am a little bit tougher than maybe other professors here, why am I not so nice, is because I like my people to earn more money than others. With more money, you can have better access to resources, better life, better house, better, I don't know, sleep.
Better means.
Yeah, you have means that make life easier. You can help others, so whatever you are up to, you can get. And the thing is that, yeah, I guess the only way to get through that is through discipline. That's why I am going to encourage you not to let go. I mean, this is just a lecture, okay? It's just in 6th semester. We don't need to be tough. It's not going to solve the world if you can get through without a lot of effort, let's say. But I would like you to remember that the university or your studies are a way to harness your character and your potential so that you become something that you're not today. And this only gets you there through work, hard work, okay? Not just flying around, getting through that. That is possible, but it's not really desirable. Why? The reason why is because hard work gets you more money than average. That's basically it. Okay. So we have a socio-technical environment. Sorry. We can call it a cube if you want, where we are navigating. One axis is going to be the technical level, one axis is going to be the social level, one axis is going to be the digital level. And in this cube, we're navigating. You will be navigating this cube for the rest of your career. I don't know where will you end up. Probably, as I said, as managers here at some mid-level, maybe working on value streams, maybe working here, maybe working even internationally. If you go for your entrepreneurship, you will need to be working on here, and of course, empowering yourself constantly. It's hard work. I also had my own company for some time. It was fun, but hard, digital and social. So, and yeah. Any questions so far? Can you relate to the topic? Would you like to share something? So one thing, it's important, is that we understand what is a person. And why is this important? Because it's crucial for understanding the framework I just gave you. So we understand a person as a four-dimensional being. 4 dimensions that are coupled to 4 needs. let's look at these 4 dimensions. Again, this is universal. This is timeless. So the first dimension is your body. And the need of your body is to live. It starts with L, okay? To live, you need some money, you need some food, you need some shelter. The second dimension of your human nature is your heart. And here, your need is to love. You need to have an emotional relationship to whatever you're doing. Whether you're aware of it or not, you need to understand why you do it. What is moving me? Okay. The third level is your mind. And here we have the need to learn. They all start with L, so they're easy to remember. Your mind, so you want to learn. And you want to learn all the time. There is a human need to that. The fourth level is the spiritual level. And in that level, you want to leave a legacy. Leave a legacy. So it's not a material legacy. It's not money or something like that. It's just something that you want to leave for the next generation. So let me give you one thought that is super important, in my opinion, for people your age. If somebody treats you only as one-dimensional, like a body, because you're pretty, young and pretty, you know, full of energy. If somebody treats you just like a body, or just like an emotional support because you're somebody that listens and cares, or just as the mind because you're smart, if somebody is treating you 1, 2, or 3-dimensional, this person is treating you like a thing. It's using you. Okay? And we don't want that. Do you want that? Do you want to be used? No. So don't use others. That's the basics of empathy. Don't do to others what you don't want to be done. Okay? But the fact of the matter is, if you find somebody that uses you as a thing, cut that relationship now. Don't wait for that person to change, because people don't change. After they're 25, nobody changes. The brain is already built up. Cut the relationship, run as fast as you can. Okay? There are very many people in the world, very many interesting, lots of great people that will make you grow and enjoy and live a fulfilled life. You don't need to waste your time, your valuable time that goes away faster than you can look. I was also 20-something a long time ago, but life went away. Don't waste your time. If you find somebody that uses you, cut today. Don't wait till tomorrow. That's my advice. And advice is like buying an old car painting it and then selling it for more than it's worth. So, yeah, make sure you think about it a couple times. Okay? Yeah.
But I mean, you can't always choose who you're working with, like with colleagues.
No, you can. No, you can. If you are dragged down by your worker, you can go. Maybe you cannot go today, but you can go in 3 months. You can say, hey, you're using me, or hey, I don't feel fulfilled in this position. The one thing that you don't want to tell to an HR department is if you have a mortgage. Never tell. Because then they know you're sucked in. They know you have money, you need money every month. Don't tell. Do not tell people things that they can use in your disadvantage. Information is useful for the rest. So the best attitude in business is be ein höfliches Arschloch. Like a polite asshole. Yeah.
Doesn't it contradict the previous task?
No, it does not, because you don't say everything you think.
Yeah, but if I'm not trustful.
No, you are being trustworthy, but you're not letting people fuck your brains. There are a lot of people that will try to get you inside your head, will try to insulate ideas into your head so that you operate the way they want to. Take one moment. Take one company like Mercedes-Benz. They give you T-shirts with your star, with your name. They tell you that if you do that and that and that, you will get a bonus. They tell you if you do that and that and that. And not only Mercedes, also Porsche, also Porsche. They all operate the same way. If you do that and that, you might be eligible for the next corporate level. But sometimes you do that and then you forget about yourself. You're so focused on your career, you forget about your partner, you forget about your family, you forget about your heart, you forget about your body, you forget about your spirit. You don't know anymore why you're doing it. Is that worth it?
I guess you have to balance it out. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to be trustful
Good.
in company,
Yeah.
in family, in relationship.
Yeah, and life is not perfect.
No.
And I'm just gonna I am giving you a framework. This is theory, okay? So when you go out there, you will notice that people are not 100%, but they're maybe 90%, and that's the best you can get. And that's okay if you can live with that. So you need to be hitting some stones as well on the road, bumping, But there are psychopaths out there. If you go out to the street, here, you go out to the street, you get around 3% of psychopathy. People that can use others and don't feel remorse. If you go to jail, you find 15% of psychopathy. If you go to higher level of managers, you get more than 15% psychopathy. Okay, so high management. So I'm just trying to give you hints to protect yourself. If you find somebody that is using you on a regular manner, that is hoovering you with tactics so that you operate the same way. Usually I talk to hundreds, thousands of young people your age every year. They come to me sometimes not. And they are devastated because their boyfriend used them. See a pretty girl, 20-something, crying, she's got pregnant, and her boyfriend just dumped her, He was using her just for body pleasure, I guess. And then one life, this girl, is broken. The most important decision you will make in your life is not your studies, it's not your job, it's who you have kids with. Because that you cannot break, you cannot turn it down. This will be inside you. Stays forever. So be careful with that one. Don't fuck it up. Anyway, so you had a question, sorry.
I wanted a question because he said that it contradicted. So I was going to ask if it would be correct to say that by what you were saying is to be colder at least with regards to business, but fair. So it's not that the emotions get the best of you, but yet be.
Yes. What I'm saying, I guess, is not to let people, not let everybody inside you. Do not be transparent. Have a face of, Japanese say, in their culture they have 3 hearts, like 3 layers. First heart is for the people. Second heart is for themselves. Third heart is something hidden. Nobody, not even themselves, know it until they are under so much pressure that they need it, and it saves them. So what I'm saying is just show the first heart. You are polite, but you don't let people fuck with your brains. And if you notice that somebody's trying to hoover you, manipulate you, take you somewhere you don't want to go, say go fuck yourself with a smile in your face, and then go the other way around. So that's the way.
Because that thing of being fair is what's going to create the trust. Because it may be cold, but people know that despite being cold, when shit hits the fan, sorry for the language, but you will be someone who's fair. You may have been harsh, but
you keep your cool.
Worst, you're going to be fair, you analyze that, sure, I can help you, but without being all emotional. Gets the things done.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. So, thank you. Is that make sense?
Yeah, I have to be trustfulness to people that I need to be trustful with. I need their trust, so I give my trust also. This is how I align this one and the previous one.
Exactly. So, this is about psychopathy. And the last thing I want to talk about today, if you allow me for 5 minutes more than the first hour, is what happens in the brain of one manager. Those of you that have studied psychology will relate to this. I mean, apologize, I'm not going to be very scientific here, but let me paint a little Homer Simpson. This guy's a manager, okay? And this is his brain or her brain. Chances are that this guy is under a lot of pressure at some point. Emails coming in, your boss, your workers, the process, the factory, your supplier, your wife, your son, whatever. It's just things are coming. Some delayed plane that you're not catching, whatever. Pressure. What happens in the brain of a human being under pressure? Well, it's interesting to see because there is one place in the brain that generates the nutrients for the rest. It's called hypothalamus. In the middle, just like a little nut, creates the whatever neurotransmitters that are needed. Okay? So, and there is an area of the brain that needs them to operate, like the frontal cortex. This is our hero in business. Because with the frontal cortex, we can foresee the future. We can make plans. We can say, okay, this is what's going to happen. Okay? And within the frontal cortex, there is a part here that is called the prefrontal cortex. And within the prefrontal cortex, there is the orbitofrontal cortex. If you do like this with your finger, you will notice a bump somewhere above your eyebrows. This bump is where the orbitofrontal cortex is. Everybody has it. Not in the middle, but here. So in the orbitofrontal cortex, you can find the morale, your values. So the fact of the matter is that if you're under pressure, I mean, when you are having a cocktail and are relaxed and listening to music, everybody's nice. Everybody's nice. But if you get emails, you start getting bothered, you need to answer to an email, so you need to be operating on a verbal level, or you need to be doing some calculations, or you need to be... Whenever the lion comes, you need to either run or kill the lion. So you need your resources, you need them for different things. You cannot stop and get a very far away area in the brain, like the orbitofrontal cortex, far away in terms of the brain, supplied with nutrients. You just stop supplying with nutrients the orbitofrontal cortex because you need the nutrients for something else. This is plain physics, okay? It's not about being a bad person. It's just there's not enough for everybody, right? But this is a problem, because if you are not acting upon your morale, you will not be earning trust or being trustworthy. That's an issue. Imagine what happens in war, what people do in war, what's going on right now in Lebanon or Gaza or Ukraine, or what's going on in Africa, in Europe we export war, so we don't see it, but these guys are killing themselves with the weapons that are being produced around here. Okay? In war, people switch off their orbitofrontal cortex and they do things that are nasty. So we have the ability to switch off our morale. If you are not very, very stable in the physics of your brain, it's like the muscles, okay? It's the same thing. If you don't train your brain to be stable and support and give nutrients to your orbitofrontal cortex on a regular basis, then you will not be a good manager. You will not be a good businessman, because you will be able to switch off your morals whenever needed. Okay? So one thing it's important is not only to be smart guy that knows about the topic, not only be able to understand empathically others, but also take care of your body. Whatever you do, the more stress you're getting, the more sport you will need to get yourself healthy. Good food, good sports, good sleep, that's the basis. You can do some meditation. Okay? That's treating yourself as a human being. If you neglect yourself when you're 25, you can do anything you want. When you're 40, maybe you can keep it. When you're 50, you can't. 55, you get a heart attack. 60, you might get cancer. Because you don't get, you kind of laugh or so, but it will come. It will hit you too if you don't take care of yourselves. it would hit you too. And that's an issue. I mean, I don't want it for you. I've seen it already a couple times that people working for me just died in the office. Heart attack. No shit. They were doing some very important PowerPoint presentation for upper management. And they died in the office, heart attack. 35-year-old guy, not far away from here. You know? And is it worth it? 2 kids? I don't think it's worth it. Anyway. Stop the video here.